Real Hustle podcast, hosted by Chris Kiblin. Real hustle, real people, real results.
So how are you today?
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
Good. So as you can see, we just jump right in this.
I know, I love it. This
So
is
like, there's
awesome.
no like introduction. There's no nothing. We're just like, let's go for it. All right. So thank you for coming today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's awesome.
So we just finished having a great cup of coffee and some tea and learning about each other and understanding where you've come from. So why don't we kind of like let everybody know who you are and maybe a little bit about your background and work out into your incredible business, because it's fascinating to me.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, everyone, I'm Cait. You already know that.
Right.
So my name is Cait Kuentzel. And
so can we start with that for a second? How did your parents come up with the spelling of your name? Because it's kind of unique.
Right. Okay. So my full name is Caitlin. Caitlin.
Right.
No one calls me Caitlin unless I'm in a lot of trouble. Specifically
that's
the
me.
law.
So like,
No.
so when I hear Christopher, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, that's how I feel it too. It's like I hear Caitlin and I'm like, oh crap, I did something wrong. So, but I go by Cait, and so I just kind of cut, instead of doing like Cate, which is probably more normal, I just like cut off part of my name and was like, that's fine. So it's Cait.
Yeah, because it's still different.
Yeah, and my maiden name was Daniels, which was a lot easier, and then I married a German boy. So Kuentzel is my last name, but we go by Kuentzel.
Oh, Kuentzel.
Kuentzel. So yeah, so Cait Kuentzel.
Is he from Germany?
No, I believe his grandparents were.
Gotcha.
Don't quote me, because I might be wrong on that.
Let me tell you, I love some good Wiener Schnitzel.
Yeah, we're always looking for some good German restaurants around town too. So pretty much, I came here from New Jersey when I was 7 years old, and I was in traditional private school, Christian upbringing, just the typical American, that Christian homegrown type of family. And so in second grade, I was actually kicked out of school. They wanted to put me on drugs. So it started at a young age. So I was going to be put on Ritalin. And my mom said, absolutely not. I was diagnosed ADHD. My mom said, nope, we're going to homeschool her. So my mom kind of left her corporate career and everything to raise me and my brother. So I was homeschooled all through school until jump forward fast to high school. And I was, I think, about 16 years old, and I started working at restaurants, and I think I became a manager at 17, and I don't know, I was making money. And so by the time I was 16 years old, I said, this school is not serving me. I dropped out. I sent a letter to the state and said, my name is Cait Kuentzel. I am no longer participating in the system. And I sent the letter, and then I was done.
So I'm assuming you finished and got your degree.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. No, I did finish. So I did end up doing like an equivalent high school diploma program, but not actually until I was 21 years old or 20 years old. It took me. So I kind of just like went and worked and made as much money as I could, and just kind of enjoyed life, maybe a little too much.
Okay.
But yeah, so pretty much in my 20s, I was always I came from an entrepreneurial family. My father owned a company. He did arborist. He did trees, became pretty large in Sarasota County. Unfortunately, he passed away from brain cancer when I was 21 years old. So I kind of grew up in that hustle culture, right? Like work hard and add value, make money, level up your life. So I grew up in that environment. So me and my brother are both entrepreneurs, and he owns a very successful car wrapping business and does a lot of business down here in Sarasota County. So, and then I took the marketing route.
Okay.
But yeah, so I guess to bring me through that, you want to talk about the business or the personal?
Let's start with a little bit of the personal, because I think there's a story behind that leads us to where we want to go, right?
Okay. All right. I got that. So with my personal life, all right, everybody buckle in. It's a little bumpy. So I had always struggled with I think the typical insecurity. I got really made fun of in middle school and in high school. I had such a bad overbite. It was considered deformity, very, very underweight, made fun of just by everyone. So, and I was homeschooled on top of it. And you haven't realized it yet, but I'm a little weird.
I haven't known you long enough, huh?
Not yet. Eventually, soon you're going to be like, yeah, that's my weird friend. But yeah, no, I'm a little straight. I love like Bigfoot and aliens and conspiracy theories. And so I was, I'm just a little kind of like out there.
You need to meet my friend James, because that's what he does.
I'll get along.
Yeah. So check out the podcast with James.
Okay.
That's what he does. He actually goes and he looks for Bigfoot, and he goes.
That's awesome.
And he went to the what was the big movie that they did with a really haunted house?
Oh, The Conjuring? Conjuring, right? Is it The Conjuring?
So I think that house is in like Connecticut or something.
Yeah.
So he actually stayed overnight in that house.
That's awesome.
You got to check out that podcast.
I will. I'm going to listen to it on my way home. Call up James and be like, hey, buddy, you got a new friend.
Right.
But yeah, so I just have kind of always been like a little bit, I guess, on the quirky side, you could call it. So I got made fun of a lot, and I didn't fit in with anybody. I didn't really have like a super solid group of friends. I just was very insecure. Struggled with a ton of insecurity, and I had to work through that a lot in my 20s. And that kind of came out in a lot of ways. I felt that when I was under the influence, I was my best. So I started drinking about 14. I was waiting tables. Next thing you know, pills kind of got involved. And so I was constantly self-medicating myself. Okay. And then cocaine entered the picture in my teens. And
wow, you started.
I was like all in. And then I kind of, in my early 20s, got really... I guess you could say obsessed or just really fixated on the YouTube culture, the YouTube life.
Right.
So I made a lot of friends in the YouTube field. So we were in LA, New York City. I was at Casey Neistat's studio. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's a very well-known YouTuber. And so I just developed this really out-of-hand partying fast lifestyle. And it was fun. I had a great time, but there was consequences to that. Also, my health wasn't well. So I didn't realize it, but I was internally bleeding since I was 16 years old. Oh, wow. And it got progressively worse. I ended up having 4 major head injuries, lead poisoning. I mean, the list goes on. So my health has been kind of like rocky. And then I started suffering with seizures, alcohol-induced seizures. So things went from really fun to really not so fun really quick. And in that time, I was obsessed with business, built a company, was making very, very good money, got married to my husband, who he was my best friend in high school when I was like 17 years old. Okay. And we ended up getting together when I was 19. And so he's kind of been by my side through this entire journey. He's watched the transformation from me go to just, this little shithead kid, I would say, right, to a business owner, to struggling, to being a mother. And really, he just has been there through it all. And really have seen all the transformations. And so in my 20s, I'm partying, living it up. My health is not well. And next thing you know, the partying turns into, well, let me just take a shot at 8 o'clock in the morning, hair of the dog, right? That all started in my 24, 25 years old. And then next thing you know, by the time I was 28, I was full blown drinking bottles of vodka at 3 o'clock in the morning by my bed to stay not sick to function and run my company. Not healthy, not good. And sure enough, was making terrible business choices, spending money where I shouldn't have been spending money, hiring employees that I was not capable of hiring yet. And then COVID happened, the shutdown. Right. So my business kind of stopped. I'm drinking like crazy, partying like crazy, and everything just fell apart.
Is this all while this was all while you're married and have a kid? Mm-hmm. So...
Yeah, my son saw a lot of it. I had my son when I was 23 years old. Forgive me, I haven't actually talked about this part of my life in a very long time. I usually I'm interviewing other people. So I'm actually like right now going through this and I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty crazy. I did do that. So yeah, I had my son when I was 23 in Georgia. We moved to Georgia, and I was not drinking for a long time there. I was doing really well in Georgia. I got involved with a good church. I was that new married mom, not for me. We moved back down to Florida, and then the partying started again. And it's a partying culture here. A lot of people go out, and I kind of got sucked into all of that again. So I have struggled with drugs and alcohol, I would say, since my teens. It has always been there. I mean, I would have times where it wasn't as bad, and then I would have times where it was super bad, and then I would get under control, and then it was bad again. And it wasn't until I was 29 when I got diagnosed with early liver failure and alcohol-induced seizures, where everything had to change because they said I would be dead in a year if I didn't. So
that's a big life-changing moment, isn't it?
Yeah, and I lost everything. Went through bankruptcy, lost our condo in our nice gated community. I was telling you earlier, I had cars repoed. I didn't think, you see in movies or you see people on the side of the road that you're like, oh, I could never be that, or I don't know, you don't think it could happen to you. And then next thing you know, you wake up and you look in the mirror and you're kind of like, what have I become? And that was my realization of how did, I come from a good family. How
did you get here, right? You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. Like, because you hear so many stories of people with really heavy trauma. Yeah, I lost my dad. Yeah, I went through a lot of medical trauma. Yeah, I went through a lot of hard times. So does everyone else.
Right.
Okay. And so I didn't have this like really heavy, terrible, traumatic thing that happened to me to blame or to justify my behavior, I guess.
Right.
So really what it came down to was, I'm going to use a really bad word, but I was a twat.
Okay.
Super selfish and
Right.
very like, I just want it my way and I'm going to do that. And I had bad things happen, but it was just, I was just this like freight train that nothing could stop me. Like it was just, I want what I want and I'm going to do everything that I can to get it. And that behavior and that attitude and mindset is wonderful. It will get you far if you're not mixing it with drugs and alcohol and self-centered reasonings. And so now my whys are my family, my son, wanting to set him up with a really good, future. So yeah,
So what was that life, that moment that you said, I guess, was it once the doctor said that you're going to be dead in a year? Was that when it like clicked for you?
I still drank for another month after.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. So me and my husband were separated at the time. We'd been separated for 7 months. So things between us was not well. And since we've been together since we were basically kids
right.
to adulthood, we've went through everything from, oh my gosh, all the terrible things. I mean, abortion, not exactly being extremely faithful in our relationships and things like that. And we just went through everything, and it kind of hit that point with my alcoholism where my poor husband was like, I just don't know if I can do this anymore, And I mean, he's not innocent either, but
right.
He's not on the podcast, so I will take the blame for everything. But that moment of sitting in the doctor's office, and I went, okay, maybe this time is bad. But I had already faced so many health problems in the past where I was like, it's probably fine. Until I went about another month, and it was pretty bad. Like had trouble standing up, the shakes, the seizures were multiple times a day. I was afraid to drive a car because of it, and I shouldn't have been driving a car for most of the time. But I will say the one thing I never did was drive under the influence with my son. And I'm very proud of that until my husband says, yeah, you drove him around like 40 times his whole life when he was 5. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. But yeah, so pretty much things just got out of hand. And so I guess for me, you're never above it. Right? It doesn't matter your background. It doesn't matter if you're necessarily good looking. It doesn't matter if you know how to do sales. It doesn't matter if you have money. It doesn't matter if you have a good job. If you got a problem, you have a problem, and that problem will escalate itself. And they say every bottom has a basement. So no matter how bad you think that you can get, it can get worse. It could have got worse for me.
Well, it could have been
Thank
death.
God. Yeah, I could be
right,
dead. I could be dead. I could not be alive right now.
Right.
So thank God that I had that realization. And the realization, I'll never forget, I was sitting on my porch, and at the time I was a smoker. I was smoking a cigarette, and I said, okay, well, I guess, tonight's the night. I'm just going to take my own life. I can't do it anymore. I cannot do it anymore. I can't get sober. I know I can't get sober. There's no way I could get sober. My marriage is falling apart. I'm not a very good mom. My business completely lost everything. Bankrupt, no money, maybe $3 in my bank account.
Wow.
It was bad. And I said, I can't get out of this. I can't escape that. There's no fix. And I think, I feel a lot of people feel that way, that they hit a point in their life where there is no fix. It's so bad that it's beyond repair. Right. And I sat there and I smoked a cigarette, and I don't know if it was God, a spiritual awakening. I do believe in God, but I'm not sure what it was. But I sat there, and all of a sudden, I just had this idea. Why don't you just kill yourself after you get sober? Why don't you just try it? Get sober. See if you can do it. And if you can't, you can end it then.
Right.
What's the difference, right? It sounds so crazy.
It sounds crazy.
It sounds crazy.
It's very crazy.
And so that night, I called my husband and I said, okay, take me. And I got ready and left for detox the next morning. Terrible experience in detox. But and then I attended a couple rehabs after that. And by the grace of God, I will be 3 years sober in October.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Is like, you're sitting here telling me a story, and the short time I've known you, I'm like, this can't be the same person. I was like, are we serious right now? Yeah. Like, I'm sitting here because we've only known each other a short period of time, and just from what I know from you, you seem like such a different person than that.
Surprise.
Right? And it's like, well, that's the thing, is like, you just don't know what's in people's lives, right? So, and I run into this all the time. Well, people see where I'm at now. Mm-hmm. They didn't see what the hell I went through before. right? They
100%.
don't see the hard times that you went through. They just say, oh, look how successful he is, or look at he's got this, or he's got that, or he's doing this, or he's doing that. But they didn't see what you went through, the hell you've been through, and like I had no clue until we sit here. And this is what I love about podcasts, right?
So fun.
It's like, because you get to learn about the person that you're talking to or you're meeting, or you get to understand them. I mean, to sit there and go, wow, because that's a wow moment, and what you've been through, and I have other friends, not the same story, but have had other stories that were the drugs and alcohol were a big part of their lives, and and now they don't drink, and now they don't do any, that's not their thing, right? They had to stop. They knew it was causing issues in their life, and I sit here and because I don't know what it's like. I'm not that person, and it's hard for me when I hear this, and I'm like, couldn't you just stop? I was like, it's just a drink, but like, the thing is what's funny is that, not funny, but it's like, you have that addictive personality. When you have that addictive personality, especially when you're using it for that kind of thing instead of, hey, like I could do other things that could be great. It's the mindset, It's like, well, I just want to get to that next drink, or I want to just get to the next whatever, And so like, you do always have that addictive personality, but now it's what I can see from you and other people that are like this. They find other ways to use that, but use that to the point that it actually propels them in life.
100%.
You're right. And so now just watching you and just talking to you before we even came on the podcast, like the stuff that you're doing now is amazing, because you're using that same type of passion or whatever it is to build your business and build your family and build the things that you want. And, I think if you turn it around, I mean, I can't imagine what it's like to go into a detox and just sit there and go through hell, probably, because your body's like readjusting, right? You're taking all that out of your system, and your body's so used to having it in your system, and to not have it anymore. And you're just like, I remember when I was, because I used to smoke, and I wasn't a big smoker, but like I just stopped, right? And I can remember, and the cold turkey thing, and just to take it right out of your system, when you've had it for so long. I can't imagine the feeling that you must have gone through, because I'm sure it wasn't easy.
Not at all. But you know what? I can say without a doubt, losing my father was one of the hardest things that I've ever been through. I was very close to my dad. And I would relive my father's death 10 times over than to ever have to go through that experience again. I don't think, and I've had a child. I've done a lot of things. I mean, I've done a lot of things. I've hurt myself. I've broken an ankle snowboarding. I've skydived. I've done a lot. And I can honestly say, if you have ever been in the situation of getting sober and experiencing detox and rehab and the entire rehabilitation process, it is without a doubt the hardest thing that I think one person can go through. For me, I'm speaking from my own personal experiences. I would relive almost anything over again than ever have to go through that again, which is, I feel like now it's almost a superpower, because no matter how frustrated I get, no matter how sad I get, no matter how depressed I get, no matter how much this business beats the shit out of me over and over and over again, and I'm sure you can relate.
Right. Yep.
It will never even be remotely as bad, even 5% as bad as getting sober. And so those days when I feel like I can't do it, I'm gonna quit, I'm done, I'm done. I go, you got sober, didn't you? You did that. So shut the fuck up. Just in the nicest way possible. It's why I say that to myself. Right. So, and that's kind of like my driving factor now of why I did not live through what I lived through to be mediocre. I did not live through what I lived through to just, be silent. And, eventually, right now, I'm really focused on my business and making the wealth and building the wealth. But I do have plans on really, raising awareness on this topic and helping people that have gone through it. my last podcast.
That's what I was going to say. Tell us a little bit about the podcast, because you built this podcast to help actually share these experiences and what people are going through.
Right. So I was involved a lot with. I have celebrity friends. I have very well known. I have had really great connections with people and some very, very wealthy, powerful people. One of my friends was a VP of Staples, and he would like give me advice and stuff when I was younger. So I've been connected with all of these pretty decently well-known people, very, very wealthy people that I respect, and come to find out that they struggle too. There's a lot behind people that people don't know. And so with my podcast is that I really wanted to break the stigma, and that is why I am so outspoken about it, and I tell my story. I mean, Chris, you really think I want to level with people, sit there and be like, yeah, I peed myself in detox and cried myself to sleep every night for, I was so sick. Like, that's terrible. Like that is such an embarrassing thing to live through. And I feel that most people that end up making something out of their life, that is a very off topic. They don't talk about that. Right. They don't talk about those times.
I'm sure it's a hard topic to talk about.
It's a little uncomfortable. I mean, I haven't talked about it in so long, so I'm even sitting here, I'm like, what did I just say over the last 10 minutes ago? Because you're not proud of it. Exactly. It's a very shameful experience. And so with the podcast, I really wanted people to come on and talk about their issues with addiction and things that they faced, and they're respectable people, so that other people can feel that it's okay to struggle and it's okay to have problems.
Well, that's the thing. Is part of even my podcast is I want people to realize that you're not the only one out there going through this.
No.
And what I show is, all right, I'm showing people who have gone through, major struggles, bankrupt. I've been bankrupt. I've been foreclosed on. I lost my house, everything else. You've lost your stuff. We've all gone through, most of the people on my podcast, all gone through hell.
Yeah.
And, you're just like, and you rebuild, I think in some ways it actually makes you a better person sometimes when you've lost everything, because you hit rock bottom. And one of the things that I always tell myself after I hit rock bottom, and I didn't have anything, where I was living off of ramen noodle soup, right?
I know
peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
I know that feeling.
I mean, when it's gotten that bad, and you're basically like, am I going to get evicted this month? Because after I lost my house, I still didn't have any money. I still was worried there was going to be eviction notices on because I couldn't make the rent. And so once you've hit that rock bottom and you decide to come out of that rock bottom, and you set your mindset to say, I will never go back there, no matter what. I will never, ever let myself get to that point ever again, because I never want to feel that way again. It was hell.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's hell.
Terrible.
And you just don't want to get to that point. And so I can't even imagine somebody on your level, because probably, just listening to you and listening to some people that I know, is that you don't want to relive that. You know what I mean? It's now you've got other things, because now you've got your kid to think about. You've got your family to think about. So that changes a lot of things. What really did it for me was my mom passed away 2 months after I moved down here.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And so I didn't have the money to go see her in the hospital. I was so broke. And so my family thinks I have family members that don't want to talk to me anymore, because I wasn't able to pay to go back up to Maryland, to fly there, because I didn't have the money. And so I couldn't go see her. And when she was in the hospital, she had been sick for a little while.
Right.
And so she was sick when I left. And so, but then she went in the hospital, and they were all like, are you coming? Are you coming? I'm like, I can't afford to come. Right? I mean, and I didn't want to let it out. I didn't want people to know that I was broke.
Oh, no, nobody knew how bad it was.
Yeah, so and then when she did pass, I barely had, I had to scrape up all the money that I possibly can. I couldn't take my family with me. It was just me. I went up to Maryland. I actually stayed with my wife's mother, and we barely had any money to get me there. I was there for 2 days, and and so a lot of my family was really upset with me. But then that was kind of my breaking point. And then my son turned around 9 months later and moved to Maryland, back to Maryland. And then he went in and he was like, well, I still couldn't afford. He went back. I couldn't afford to go see him. I still didn't have enough money. Wow. So you're like, I need to change something. This sucks. If I want to go see my son, or if I want to have my son come see me, I was like, I need to figure out how to like make my life better. Like, you hear people that, well, you have to, because they say, well, Chris, all you do is hustle. All you do is this, right? You name of the show, right? And I'm like, but at some point, I'm different than most people. You don't understand what I've been through and the mindset that I've been through. And, and most people don't understand is like, yeah, I am different. You don't understand it because you haven't been there, or you don't understand what you need to have this part of your life, or you need to have this part of your life, or you need to have balance in your life. No, I don't. I was like, no, I need to have this. Like, my mentality, and what people don't understand is my mentality is to never go back there.
Right.
And so, no, my balance is that. I still do everything I can to be with my wife. I still do everything I can to be with my family. I still do everything
100%.
I can for them. But I'm not giving up.
Right.
Like, I'm not there yet. Until I think that I'm there and I've made the money and I've made the stuff that I get there, I can't.
You're not settling.
It's not me. I'm not going to be that person. So many people in the world just give up, and so many people settle. Okay, I got a good job. I work for the government. I make, my $50,000, $60,000 a year. I'm good. I'm set. I got a nice house. Fuck that. No, right? I did the same thing. So I have a question for you that I really, and answer honestly, because I really want to know. But do you still struggle? Are you still at the point in your career and on your path where you still struggle with who you were then? Because it's almost like you were a completely different person then, right? When you were broke and struggling. Do you ever still happen to cross those paths and say, I am that person and I'm imposter syndrome, what I'm doing, I'm crazy, I'm not. And do you ever struggle with that? Or you kind of go back and forth of like, no, that's not me, or it's because it's a lot. You're talking about two completely different people, right.
And what you've come out of and accomplished, I don't think many people have. I think a lot of people have, but I think overall it's more of a rarity. So where do you sit with that?
So okay, just to give you a perfect example of this past year has been hell in the mortgage business. It's so volatile right now. So you have your ups and your downs. You got to be careful. Luckily, I've made a lot of better decisions in my life, but it's always creeping back in my head. It's always creeping back in my head of where I came from, and as soon as I feel that it is starting to slip up or starting to not get there again, then it's like, okay, I have to reevaluate, and I have to reevaluate what I'm doing. I was just actually just having this conversation with one of my coworkers last night, and I said, look, I need to change. I need to I need to change some things up here, because what I used to do isn't working now.
Right.
So now I have to always constantly change, but it does come back. It does creep back all the time. And so it always comes back. And so I'm like, dude, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
I'm like this. So I'm always having these questions and always having these thoughts of all right, well, I need to change something. This isn't where I want to be.
Right.
I'm nowhere close to where I want to be. What else do I need to do? So, I've already started thinking, okay, well, I need to be out doing this. I need to be out doing this. I need to be mixing with these people. I need to be seeing these people and going, okay. And, the thing is I've heard a lot of motivational people say, look at your five closest friends.
100%.
And what they're doing. What are they doing, right? Because if they're not in that arena that you want to be in, you need to find new friends, right? So putting yourself up with the people that you inspire to be like and find those people, for me, all right, I'm with these people, but I'm not getting where I need to be. I need to find some other people, and I need to figure out what I need to do. And I tell my wife all the time, I was like, I don't think I could ever retire. I don't think I could ever give up what I want to do.
I don't blame you. Yeah.
It doesn't, and I'm saying that I want to do mortgages for the rest of my life. What I'm saying is that my mentality now is I will die doing something, doing something that I'm passionate about. I can never, and some people will be like, well, don't you want to retire and go travel the world? Yeah, I want to do that too, but at the same time, I need something in my life that keeps me going.
Yep.
And something that I can feel like I'm giving back or doing something in my life that's worth value. Yeah, traveling is great. Don't get me wrong. I love traveling. I've been to Africa. I've been all over the place. My best trip was down in going in safari in Africa.
Oh, fun.
That's
awesome.
Those are great memories, right? But like at the same time, I'm like, but I need to do something of value. It's like, you can only vacation so much. You can only do so much. That's fun. But also costs money, And
Don't I know that?
So, that's just kind of way my mentality is. And a lot of people that come on the show, that's their mentality as well, right? I think it's a rarity, right? Something has to click in your brain to say that I'm not going to do this anymore. And I'm not going to be that person anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
And so, for you had to sit there and say, I don't want to be this person anymore. I don't want to be like that anymore. I want to change who I am for me, because it is for you. It's not, we might have other things, like we have family, we have kids, we have that, but it's for us. Deep down inside, it's for us.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. And so it's like, because you want to have a better life hey, you want to watch your kids grow up. You want to watch them have kids. You want to have grandkids. You want to be there for that, right? And so that's the thing. And that's really what drives me. And all the personal belongings, like the cars, the houses, all that bull crap, they're just possessions.
Yeah.
What do you remember most about life is your memories.
Yeah.
When I sit back and I look at my memories and I think about my kids going to, we went to Cozumel when they were younger, and it was the best experience we ever had. It's the best time I've ever had in my life. We rented a Jeep. So Cozumel's a small little island. We rented a Jeep, and we took the Jeep all the way around the island. And it was just phenomenal, right? We had the best time. That's what you remember. I couldn't tell you the car, because I'm a car guy, and I've had cars, way too many cars.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell you the 10 cars I had before that I have this car now. I don't remember it.
Oh, same with me. I was thinking about that. My husband and I were talking about it. They were like, hey, what car do we own? And I'm like, I have no idea. I don't even remember.
But you'll remember those moments.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll get off about that. So let's get back on you, because the thing is one of the things that and this is what I find amazing. Okay, so you just gone through this at 29, right?
Yeah, I got sober in 2012. Yeah, October 2020 is when I got sober.
Okay, so we're only a couple years out.
Yeah, when I think about it, it's not that long ago.
It's not that long ago,
no,
right?
No.
And now you've had this amazing marketing company that you're dealing with, and you've grown something pretty special, and you're doing stuff that I think could help a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because I know you look at it from the standpoint is here's something that I can help people with, because the thing is what you're doing. I'm going to be honest with you. Most people hate doing it. I hate doing it. So
I hear that a lot.
So tell us about your social media, and because you have a whole social media platform, your whole marketing platform, and you have this way of really helping people build whatever their business is and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So I had a little bit of a platform myself personally. For a while, I did YouTube videos and Instagram and things like that. And I just kind of was learning tips and tricks of how the algorithm works. And I was hanging out with YouTubers. And so that was just kind of the name of the game. And when I was in my early 20s, I worked for Mercedes-Benz. I was a sales consultant with them. And we were sitting in a meeting, and I'll never forget. And I got a terrible memory, but they said something that they are pulling out an astronomical amount of money Mercedes was pulling out of the TV ads and putting it into social media. And this was back in 2014. Okay. And something in my mind went, social media. Maybe I need to do something with this. And so despite my rocky educational path, I started educating myself, going back into school, and just really immersing myself in social media from 2014 till now. I'm still doing it. And weirdly enough, I ended up in a digital marketing program with Yale, and I can't believe it.
Isn't that kind of crazy?
I know.
You went from where you dropped out of school, and now you're in digital marketing at Yale.
Yeah, so. You know what? Make it make sense. You can't. And I like my classmates. I cannot even. One is a brand manager for Coca-Cola. There's all these very heavy hitter people, and I'm like, oh yeah, hey guys, don't look at my personal page. You'll see me when I was using. You know what I'm saying? There's always that too.
Right.
That stuff is on the internet and there to stay. So, I've learned so much, and my company more dealt with larger, like I was telling you this morning, they've dealt with more larger companies, and so my prices are a bit higher. And I had a lot of local companies reach out and go, I want to work with you. And I just was really out of the wheel. They couldn't afford me. And I knew companies needed it. And, my dad owned a business. I owned so many businesses before. I get what it's like when you can't afford proper marketing. You're trying to figure it out yourself. I hired a team, trained a bunch of people. Long story short, I launched the Accelerate Social Media Plan. So it's a affordable option for small businesses to get, make sure you're doing SEO ranking in your bio and your keywords in your post and call to actions and all that fun marketing jazz.
All the crap that
pretty much nobody people.
Right?
Yeah, everyone's like, okay,
knows what the hell.
Yeah. So long story short, so we offer an affordable social media option, marketing option, which will eventually grow, and there'll be so many different add-ons. And I really want to see in the community local businesses being able to utilize proper marketing. Right? It should be at this point. We're in 2023. Marketing should just be a commodity for everyone, not for just people who have a lot of money.
So let's explain a little bit more in detail what this is, because this is marketing for social media. And so basically you are helping people with their social media ads, right? Because we know, look, most companies now, they're getting kind of away from the whole TV stuff, actually, because
100%.
Because it's, unless you're a big corporation, you're not really doing a whole lot of TV. You're heading more towards social media, because where most people, they're on Facebook, they're on Twitter, they're on Instagram, and everybody's on these platforms now because everybody's on their phone.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? So you're on your phone way more than you are watching TV. And let's be honest, how many people are really watching TV now that they have streaming services?
Everybody's doing streaming services.
Right? So everybody's doing streaming, so nobody's really watching commercials anymore. So all right, so you're not getting the advertising there. So if you're not utilizing, I tell people this all the time, if you're not utilizing social media, you're losing.
Oh, 100%.
You're losing, because I believe I built a pretty good presence on social media.
Oh, your presence is amazing. Yeah, 100%.
So I get a lot of questions about my social media, and I get a lot of people asking me about my social media. How did I grow it? How did I do this? How did I do that? And the thing is I tell them, because there is a lot of people who are very old school and don't believe in it, don't want to use it, don't understand it, right? So they get out there, well, I don't want to use social media. I don't even want to, you go look at them and they put 5 posts on in the past year or something like that.
Yeah, 100%.
So and the thing is you could look, I look at some people's pages, and these are people that are in business trying to create more business, right? And they're not using social media, but I'll go look at them and they'll you have all these people saying happy birthday because it's their birthday, right? And then maybe another post that's 6 months ago. And I'm like, you're not using it to your advantage, because, and we were talking about Grant Cardone earlier. Grant Cardone, and I use this, and I probably said this 10 times in all my podcasts. Grant Cardone said, how do you expect people to do business with you if they don't know who you are?
Exactly.
And so that is my favorite quote that I've ever heard. And I've been saying this ever since I went through the Grant Cardone Ambassador Program. He's like, who's going to do business with you? You know who the hell you are, right? And I sit there, and it really resonated with me. And that's when I really started digging into social media. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to get full board on social media now, right? I'm on board. People need to know who I am, what I do, how I do it, what it takes to get it done, right? And so I just went full crazy with it. And and he had a point. So I was doing everything I can to get my name out there. I was doing everything. We did there used to be this TV show that would come up and called Out and About Southwest Florida, I think it's called.
Yeah.
So they would come in and we do they would do open house. We do a house, right? So you would come in and we would show this house and we would do it. Anything I could do to get my name out there. So I was on television. I did some other television stuff. And so we were just trying to figure out how to keep getting our name and pumping our name out there, right?
Right.
But it's still so hard to understand social media with the post, because you said, it's all analytics and it's all using the keywords.
There's so much more that goes into it than just putting up a post.
Right.
And of course, Google's king. I love Google. I will stand by. I do Google ads myself. But one of the easiest ways to break it down for you real quick is when it comes to social media, you're talking about social proof. It's your social value to society almost with your Facebook and your Instagram pages, your LinkedIn, whatever platform you're using. And so when you talk about social proof, it's as simple as this, right? You have a client for one of the largest houses you ever sold, and you're going to take it. He says he wants to go to lunch to talk about the contract. And you go, hey, Larry, what's your favorite food? And he goes, burgers. So the first thing you're going to do, right, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, the first thing you're going to do is go into Google. Best burgers in Sarasota.
Right.
Okay, that's the first thing you're going to do. And then 2 places come up. 5-star reviews. Their website looks great. Everything is awesome. Same reviews. What's your next step? You got Bob's Burgers and you got Hustle Burgers across the street.
Hustle Burgers.
So you got Bob's Burgers and you got Hustle Burgers across the street. Same distance,
right.
and it's a clean, beautiful place. So then you go to Facebook, right? That's usually the natural second step to things, right? So you go to Facebook and you see that Bob's Burgers has 3 posts in the past week and maybe 2 shares, 3 comments, a like. Nothing really super major. A couple reviews. And then you go to Hustle Burgers, and they are posting every single day. They have hundreds of comments, tons of shares, tons of reviews, tons of likes, a big social media presence. Got a question. Are you going to Hustle Burger or Bob's Burger for your client?
Right, because you've seen more, because you got more attention to it. 100%.
So now, social media marketing, so I do a lot of other marketing, mostly, but social media marketing is a really hot button right now, especially, it's more affordable, right? Because you can post things up, and it's more of owned media, right? So you can kind of control what you post up. You can almost manipulate your algorithm. You can manipulate your analytics. You can do all of that. I mean, if you know what you're doing, you can do that. Right. Now, organic growth is a little bit harder to come by. And I do a lot of paid media. I do a lot of ads, display ads, video ads, and all that good stuff. So, but with the organic and with this program, it's all organic. It's an affordable price, $6.95 a month. I don't know if I should say it, if it's going to stay that. It's going to stay that. No, but $6.95 a month, and you are going to get all this organic growth. Are you going to get 100% of leads? Are you know, and I'm very honest and upfront with people. If you're not running ads, you're not getting a guaranteed lead. And if any marketing company looks you in the face and goes, yeah, we're going to do this for you and you're going to get leads, you're going to get website visits, they're lying. They're not telling the truth. That is a gamble. Because if your content or you suck, no offense,
right,
you can post up the greatest graphics and videos and it's only going to go so far, right? They're going to click on your website and click right off. So it's a whole... It's everything. But social media marketing, as you said, is the forefront. And I think it's important. And it's the most affordable option that you can do to start your marketing. And guess what? You start doing the organic growth. You get a lead here. You get some business here. Next, you say, let me take 25% of that and let me invest it into my website. Let me invest into some Google ads. It's a long-term game.
Right.
You want to make a lot of money and you want to grow your business. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight.
We all should know this, right? So if you're in any type of business or any type of sales or any type of anything, it never is overnight, right? There's very rarely, very few that have that overnight.
And it does happen to some people.
It does happen.
But it's not something that you can package up and resell.
Right.
Unless you're like, hey, my ad budget is $100,000 a month. You're right. We could absolutely do something really great for you, but that's not the reality for most local businesses.
No, most people don't have that kind of money to spend, right?
Right.
So, that's the thing. So, and if you're not using it, but the thing is it's the long-term play, and we were talking about this earlier, right? I mean, it takes time to build. It took me time to start building even my stuff that I had on there. I mean, it was years. And so, I mean, so like you'll get some stuff as it grows more and more, but it's about putting out the right stuff. It's about putting out there. It's funny because, I think we recently became friends on Facebook, and I don't know if you've noticed, but so I put a positive post every morning.
I love it. No, I read yours this morning. I was
every
like, that's
morning.
great.
You know how long I've been doing that? I mean,
how long? How long have you been doing that?
So 6 years. Every day.
You're committed.
Yes. So 6 years, every day I put that on. And the thing is so what people ask, but the thing is like, and I've thought many times of stopping it. I was like, people are probably like, Chris, really? Come on, another damn post, right? But I did it strategically. Again, going back to Grant Cardone, he's like, if people don't know who you are, how do you expect them to do business, right? So what I did was, I'm always up at 4:30 in the morning. I put the first thing on there. Guess what the first thing they see when they open up Facebook? My post.
100%.
They see Chris's post that says, oh, have a beautiful day, whatever it is, right? They see that every morning. And I've been doing it for 6 years. And I was like, I'm probably driving people nuts. So I was like, people are probably like, because I was worried. Back then I worried about it. I don't care anymore.
You get to the point where you're just like, I don't care.
Well, I've gotten to the point in my life that I just don't care what people think anymore.
Yeah,
and
100%.
it stopped because I tried that. I was like that person before, and I didn't like that person. So now look, you don't like me, then fine. We don't have to be friends, But I used to be like, well, maybe I'm bothering people. But then the thing was, it was actually the reverse.
Yep.
People said, we love your post. Please keep doing your post. Don't stop doing your post, because even though I might not comment it in the morning, I read them every day, and it gets my day going. I was like, well, shit. I was like, it is working. I was like, and the thing is because, and the whole reason I started doing it is because I have a love-hate relationship with Facebook.
Oh, me too.
So, the thing is I love how it keeps us all connected. I love going back and seeing my memories. Like, that is the best feature on Facebook. Going back and looking at your memories from 10 years ago is probably by far the best thing Facebook's ever done, because it shows you things that you forgot about, things that like you can go, oh wow, I did that 10 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. But the thing is that I also hate all the negativity.
Oh, there's a lot of it.
It's so much negativity. So like if you ever you follow me, everything that I do, there's no negativity. Like, I'm tired of the negativity.
Yeah.
I'm tired of all the nonsense. I'm tired of people. I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you're Democrat.
Right.
I don't care if you're this or if you're that. I don't care.
I just don't want to see it in my face every day.
You're right. I don't need it.
Yeah,
and I don't
exactly.
need you. And like I said, politics drives me insane. Like, so I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. I don't care if you're green, blue, whatever.
Exactly.
You're gone. I'm tired of it.
That's why I'm moving to Alaska.
So,
I'm like, see you later. Bye, guys.
It's just, it's gotten to the point that it's just so overwhelming.
It is.
And it's so much. And I'm just like, look, and, and one of the things is as I've gotten older, I was like, we need to come to a point in our lives where we say we all need to come together and start working together.
Yeah.
And we all, as Americans, we have the best opportunity in the world. And people forget that. And people forget what we have here and what we are allowed to do, right? We were lucky enough to be born here or be here and not deal with all the social communist stuff, all the other stuff that goes on. I've been to enough third world countries that I see all the crap that's going on there, where they're living in huts, where they barely have running water, where they can't even go to the bathroom. We take it all for granted. And
well, we do. I mean, look at how far we have failed.
Oh yeah.
And look at how far we've came. That's you can't do that in most countries.
No, and that's the thing. And it's like we take it for granted, but we want to bitch about hey, that politician said this, or hey, that politician said that, or oh my God, I can't believe this or that. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
I was like, really? This is our biggest problem right now?
Yep.
I was like, and I hear it all the time, and it's like, it does get to, we're all going to have issues, and and it doesn't matter who's the president. It doesn't matter what politician's there.
That's kind of how I feel. Let's be honest with you. I mean, it doesn't, It
was like,
you
need to still live your own life, and you still need to make the best of your own life, no matter where we are, no matter what's going on out in the outside environment. We need to shut out the noise and just do our thing.
100. Yeah. You know what? Let me tell you why I love our country. Okay, let me tell you why I love our country. Is because I'm fed up with the bullshit. I'm over it. And so as a female American woman, I get to build a business, make very good money, and move to Alaska, where I'm a little bit not so involved in it every single day. I have that option. We have options. We have opportunities. And so I can't get on the whole trend of the negativity and that I'm oppressed, I'm this, I'm that. It's because there's opportunity if you want it. It's there.
And
it's
it doesn't
there for the
matter
taking.
what you do. It doesn't matter who you are. There's opportunity there. And some of it's mindset, and it's really, you're the one holding yourself back. No matter what you think, you're the one. If you want it bad enough, you'll figure it out.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter where you came from. I mean, I came from Baltimore City. I grew up in the hood. I mean, so like I grew up in the hood. I mean, we lived.
I'm familiar with Baltimore City. My husband's from there. I'm very familiar.
So like, it's like, it's not. The thing is it's all in what you put into it, and it's all about changing where you think mindset.
This is mindset. If you have the mindset for it, and that's what I just really want to stress to anyone that's listening to this right now. Mindset. It doesn't matter if you're an addict. It doesn't matter if you're poor. It doesn't matter. You can do anything you want if you say, I'm going to build a solid routine, and I'm going to be consistent, and I'm going to stay disciplined. That's the magic code.
Right.
I have people say, how did you do it? How are you doing this? How are you just build a routine that works for you, stay consistent, be disciplined, and do it no matter how you feel. I don't feel like doing it. Listen, I'll be honest with you. Yesterday, I realized my health, I'm still struggling with issues with my health, and I'm eating terrible. So I'm pre-making salads, and I'm doing all of these things and everything else. And I got so overwhelmed. I sat on my kitchen floor and I cried yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Just sat on my kitchen floor and I cried. I gave myself 5 minutes. Go ahead, Cait. Feel bad for yourself for 5 minutes. Go cry. Poor me. Why me? I'm so tired. I'm depressed. I'm da-da-da. And then after 5 minutes, I wiped the tears away and continued packing my salads. And guess what? I'm going to go home and eat a salad today. But we have the opportunity. You couldn't be more correct in what you're saying. No matter what, you can do it. Come up with a plan and just follow through.
And it's not easy. That's the biggest thing. It's like you got to push yourself through the crap, and you got to get through it. We're going to have our bad times. You're not going to always, it's not always going to be great, right? You're still going to have your downs. You're still going to have your ups and downs. You know, it's coming out of those downs and really understanding that when you are down, how do you correct it? But don't let it push you all the way down. And so, like, so many people, they'll keep going down, 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 down.
Right.
But they won't come back up. And they don't know how to come back up.
Exactly.
Or they won't change their mindset. You know, it's like, okay, well, I'm already this far down. Well, fuck it, I'm done. So what's the point, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, you get to that point and people are like, but if you could figure it out, if you really want it, you know, all right, this sucks. What do I need to do? Okay, well, let me sit here and think about this for 10 minutes. Let me put some proper thought into it. Or like, all right, you know what? Instead of me doing this today, I'm going to do this today.
Yeah.
Get outside of your comfort zone or go and do something else. Go, like, take a day off. Go do something, right?
For a walk.
And clear your mind, come back, and then reevaluate.
Yep.
Because that's the only way it's going to work. You have to figure it out on your own. And so, like, you know, nobody's going to give it to you. Nobody's going to say, hey, Chris, here you go. and have fun, right? No. So it's like, you know, and it's like, you know, because I've been dealing with this, my team has been dealing with this very volatile market right now, what's going on in the mortgage world. So, like, we have daily discussions about it. It sucks. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. The mortgage world sucks right now.
Yep.
And it's hard. And it's very hard. And I mean, I've been doing this since I started in 2010 in actual mortgage world. I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen it so volatile right now. And the people that I do get, they want to shop you. They want to do this. They want that. They want this. And you're just like, oh my God. I was like, how am I reverting back to, because I almost feel like I'm starting over again.
It does feel, with these times, I went grocery shopping and I'm like, what in the world is going on?
So I'm like, what is going on? This is crazy. I was like, I feel like I'm starting over again. I feel like I'm just like, I'm struggling to get every deal that I am, or fighting for every deal that I get. But then I sit down and I'm like, Chris, the market sucks right now. Okay. But you're still doing pretty freaking well.
Yeah.
Right now. When you look in the reality of it and what I still make, and even though I'm having a very down year, I'm still doing better than most. And so I have to look at it from that standpoint, because I'm like, guys, I was like, where other job can you go and still make the money that you're making, even though we're not making as much as we made the year before?
Things are bad right now.
You know? And so you got to sit there, and it sucks. And we're not doing as much as we were. But you got to get past it. It will come, right? Just keep fighting. Keep going after it. Do everything that you can, because as soon as the market does shift, and it's going to shift back, we just have to be there, right? So don't give up. And just realize that at some point we will get there. And when we're there, it's going to be crazy, because then all of a sudden the market's...
Because you're ready.
Because we're ready. Right. We've been through this.
You didn't get defeated. You didn't get depressed. You didn't go... You're ready. Yeah. You're ready for it.
And that's the thing is, like, so, like, you know, and I tell people that, you know, and same thing, it doesn't matter what business you're in. It doesn't matter if you're in sales. It doesn't matter whatever you're trying to do, right? You're going to be ready for when that time comes, as long as you stay consistent with it, as long as you keep going after it, and as long as you're where you need to be. It might take you a little while, but you'll get there, right? And so, and I have these discussions all the time, and it's like, really just, it's tough. And you're going to have those down days, and you're going to have those depressing days, and you're going to have this, like, good Lord, I just want to drink day, you know, and I'm not.
Which I can't do.
Which you can't do. But
I can do whatever, but I can't do that.
So, like, you know, but the thing is like, I'm not even a drinker, and I'm like, yeah, I could really use a drink. I'm like, but, like, I'm just, but, like, you get to a point in your life, you're just like, this really sucks, but how do I fix it? You know, or, like, and you don't want, or you don't even think about it. You just think how bad it is. Right? You know, you keep thinking, you keep drawing on it, you keep going and going and going, oh my God, what am I going to do? Oh my God, what am I going to do?
You just got to have a mindset for it. I mean, you know what? You're absolutely right in what you're saying. You're allowed to have bad days. You're allowed to have bad hours, minutes. That comes with the territory. But overall, you got to make sure you're having more good days than bad days. Yeah. And I think that's being consistent. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, right? If you have a good routine and no matter what your business is doing, you can still say, hey, I got up on time today. I did what I was supposed to do every morning. Things are going to, I think that you're going to be there when it goes up. I think a lot
of people also they don't look at it this from, did you wake up today? Is that not a gift in itself?
It is. I'm slowly, and I'll be very honest with you, I struggle with major depression disorder. So there's some days where I'm like, well, no. But yeah, that's where it's all about mindset. And that's kind of where I'm at, because when I first got sober, I was told, oh, you have bipolar 1 disorder. You have, I do have OCD, but that is the one thing that they were correct in. But I got diagnosed with all of these things, was put on 9 prescription drugs, and was completely a zombie for the first 9 months. And my depression did not get any better. And I just said, what's the point? And what's the point? And when you hit hard times, I revert. I've gotten off all of my medications. They were wrong. They misdiagnosed me. Clearly. I mean, I run a family business, and I don't have many issues, far few in between. But but I revert to that when things get really hard. I'm like, maybe they were right. Maybe I am crazy. Maybe I am bipolar. Maybe I can't handle this. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I should quit. Maybe I should give up.
Yep.
And what you said was, look at it overall. I am very thankfully doing well than most. Mm-hmm. And that's what you have to look at.
You got to stop and reevaluate your own self.
The emotions, they're just emotions, they're feelings. You can't, emotions aren't facts. Well, you got to push them off to the side.
The thing is you got to take the feelings out of it.
You have to. I'm glad you said that. It's so important, because if I look at it on paper and pen, it's not that bad.
Right.
I mean, it may be bad today, but it's not that bad. But if I look through my emotional lens, terrible.
I know.
Give up. Just give up.
So yeah. All right. So you run an awesome marketing program.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I want to just kind of get that word out there. So if anybody is out there looking for social media marketing or any kind of marketing,
websites, all kinds of fun stuff.
You do all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Please reach out to Cait. So what's the best way to get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me on my
website.
My website. Actually, if you go onto the website, fezzlemedia.com, there's a chat option. You can chat. Someone will be there to answer any questions that you have. We also have an office line that I don't remember, so I will get back to you on that one. No. But yeah, our website's our best bet, or Fezzle Media, Instagram, Facebook, all of that good stuff, social medias. So that's where you can get a hold of me.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming today.
Thank you so much. It's so fun to have like these conversations outside and then really sit across from each other and be like, let me tell you all my shit. And it's just, I appreciate the opportunity.
This is the thing I love about it. I love learning. And like the thing is, and my listeners are probably tired of me hearing this too, but like the one thing I love about this is I get to learn about people that you don't normally learn this much about. It's such a deeper level, because let's be honest with you, right? All right, go out to dinner. We're not getting in this kind of conversation.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to be like, so let me tell you about that time where I was going to take my own life.
Yeah, I mean,
right? Like, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, but it takes it to such a deeper level, and I want people to realize and see, like, look, it's just not you. There's a lot of people out there like that. It's not easy. You got to work your ass off. And and the thing is like, and I want to share those experiences with other people that are feeling that same way.
Yeah.
Because we're all going through shit, and we're all going through things. It's like, it's just whether or not we want to get to that point to get us out of that. So and then when I started this whole podcast, that was the whole purpose behind it. It's because I knew where I came from. So like that was even like because I struggled when I first got in the mortgage business here. So like when I first moved here, it was just me, my wife, and my kids. I knew nobody.
Yeah,
nobody. I didn't have family. I didn't have friends. I didn't have nobody. We just moved here. And I'm like, nobody. And so like I was like, well, there's no way I'm doing freaking mortgages. I don't know anyone. So when I first got here, I actually went back into retail banking. I ran a branch for a little bit. I went and sold personal training for a little bit. It's poor as all out. That's when we didn't know if we can pay our bills or get evicted.
Wow.
And then I got back, and I was like, I got to get back in the mortgage business. So I went and I got my license for the mortgage business, which I didn't even know if I was going to get it, because I had lost everything. Because when you go through like foreclosure,
right.
So like when you lose everything, you don't know, because it's all finance, and so you had to go through a background check and everything. So I didn't even know if I was going to get my license. So like my heart was beating like the whole time I'm waiting for my license and all that kind of stuff. So I finally got approved for my license, but then it's like, okay, well, it took me 2 years to even start really getting my name out there.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know anyone. So like when it comes to working with people and really getting them to trust you, it takes time.
Yeah.
And and it takes time to build your reputation. It takes time to do what you do. So like the thing is like, and that's the difference, I think, when you're working with somebody who is like someone like me, is that all my business is referral based. So I have to do the best job that I possibly can to build those relationships, because they're not going to refer you again.
Exactly.
So, but as I built my business so fast, then everybody kept asking me, how did you do this? How did you grow it so fast?
I will say, when you said you moved here in 2017, didn't know anyone, I was like, that's pretty impressive.
So,
very good.
Well, I moved here in 2014. I didn't know anybody, but then I really didn't get into the business until like 2017.
2017, yeah.
So, and then it happened so quickly. So then I wrote a book about it, basically telling my same story. But then that elevated into this, because I wanted more people to tell their stories. I wanted more people because I knew I wasn't the only one out there. And so like I was like, I wanted to do this for so long, and I was like, and I finally was able to find a great place to do it.
Right.
And once I found my place, I knew. I was like, and it's so funny, when I first started, I was like, oh my God. I was like, what the hell am I doing? I'm sitting there, I'm like, I was like, can I really like do a podcast? I was like, what are we going to talk about?
I know, right? And it goes by really quick.
It does. I was like, I mean, we've been here for almost an hour.
Oh my gosh.
So,
yeah, no, right. Exactly.
So,
and
it goes fast. Now, I can never do a Joe Rogan podcast. That's a 3-hour podcast. That's not me. I probably could, but like that's a lot of talking.
Yeah, I break his podcast up and listen to them randomly when I drive. It's the only way to get through it all.
So it's like his podcasts are just, but I love the information he shares.
Oh yeah, it's great.
He's so intelligent with the stuff that he talks about. It's just phenomenal. But that was it. So I'll get off my soapbox. But no, this was awesome. I appreciate it.
No, I really, really appreciate you having me. I sorry if I fumbled a lot. I haven't thought about a lot of that part of my life for so long, because I've been so focused on the business. So it was nice to revisit it and really kind of be like, you know what, Cait, you're kicking ass. Like, it's not even been 3 years. You're doing great. I'm going to leave here with a whole new sense of confidence.
Well, that's the thing. Is like, I'm looking at it and you're like, I'm 20. I was like 29 or whatever. I'm like, well, wait a minute.
I'm 31.
You're 31. I was like, wait a minute. That wasn't that long.
No. It really hasn't been that long.
And to build what you built in this short period of time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Sometimes I have to remind myself that, because it gets overwhelming every day. So
you got to think about how, the success you've had in that short period of time. It's awesome.
I know. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right.
You can help support our podcast by checking out our Real Hustle gear. We have t-shirts, hoodies, tank tops, hats, and more. Let everyone know that you're a real hustler, willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. You can check us out right now on realhustle.com. And right now, we are offering all of our listeners 10% off when you use the promo code PODCAST at checkout. Once again, that is PODCAST to receive 10% off your entire order.